Some vehicles are equipped with a snowplow interface module. When you are installing your ESS kit, you must determine if that vehicle has the interface module, because there is an additional adapter kit that is available to utilize the vehicle light functions on the dash rather than turning the high beams and low beams off on the controller. So on this specific installation, we're installing the ESS on this Ram 2500. The kit includes a harness, some zip ties, some heat shrink butt connectors, and a manual. You will install this harness, or this adapter harness, onto the ESS main harness, and then finish the installation on the truck. We'll start out by looking at the adapter harness. We'll find the blunt cut wires. We'll also bring in the ESS main harness. We'll open it up. We'll lay out our ESS main harness, bring the wires right up to your adapter wires. So you're going to attach to the longer blunt end cut wires off the harness. The shorter wires are actually going to attach to the wire leads that are coming out of the vehicle. So we're looking to attach your ESS main harness to the adapter on this end, but there's a few things we need to cut off first. One, we're going to actually remove the daytime running light wire. It's not needed to be sensed because the vehicle itself will sense that for us. So we'll cut this wire off right at the loom. Remove that. Then we can take our two wires for our blinkers and cut them to the same length as the rest of the wires coming out of the ESS main harness. Now that we have all the wires the same length, we can strip and connect wire for wire, color to color. We'll then heat shrink all of the connectors to the wires so they're watertight. And we'll bring our main harness and adapter over to the truck and continue installation. Next, we need to find the wires for the snowplow interface module on this truck. So we need to locate the fuse box right by the battery here on the driver's side. There's clips right on each side here that you need to release. You release all these clips and you pull the fuse box straight up. Underneath the fuse box, you will find some blunt cut wires in some loom with heat shrink on the end of them. We will take back these wires, cut the loom off, and then connect our harness to these wires. So we found our wires. Now we want to cut off these heat shrunk ends and get ready to splice them into our ESS main harness. In the manual, it shows a chart for the color wires that are on the actual vehicle for this specific adapter and what color wire attaches to them. And then it also lets you know what function each wire does. Okay, now that I have all the butt connectors crimped onto the vehicle harness, we're going to bring in the ESS main harness with the adapter, and we are going to connect the wires coming off of the adapter to the vehicle harness based on that chart, color for color. We will first get ready to crimp on all the wires coming off the harness. So first on the list we have white with a brown stripe or a brown trace connecting to the brown wire from the main harness. So we find that brown wire. We find the white with the brown trace. There are two white wires. One has a violet trace and the other one has a brown. They're very close in color, so look closely. Next we have black with the light green wire here. That will connect to our green wire. Next we have black with the light blue, so we'll find that wire in here. Here's black with the light blue. We're going to connect our blue wire to that. Next, white and violet, so that other white wire now with the violet trace on there. That's going to go to our yellow wire. There's a violet with a brown trace. So we're looking for that violet with the brown trace wire. Right here. We're going to connect that to our gray wire coming out of our ESS main harness. And last will be black with a violet trace connecting to the additional white wire that is in the kit. This is not attached to the adapter or the main harness yet. We are just connecting this wire straight to the black with the violet trace. You'll then heat shrink the butt connectors. These ones are just plain butt connectors. The ones you'll get in your kit will have heat shrink ends on them. Heat shrink all of the connections and then continue to route the harness. There are a few connections we need to make to the battery. There's two of them. One on the main harness and the other one on the adapter that we've installed to the main harness. We need to put power and ground to the battery. So we are going to run this harness up around to the battery, tucking the rest of this harness underneath the fuse box and routing the rest down to the front bumper of the truck, ready for plow connection. Okay, so we tied up our excess harness. We have the ends that connect to the battery coming out towards the battery. The other end going down to the front bumper of the truck, going this way. We are going to now tuck this underneath the fuse box, out of the way. We will replace the fuse box, snapping it back in place. Once it's all back in place, now we can route the harness up towards the battery, but before we make any battery connections, we need to attach this white wire to a 4-pin connector going into the ESS vehicle receiver. We're going to mount our receiver towards the back of the battery on this other fuse box. We have some Velcro that we can use to attach here. We're going to take off this connector that's on the vehicle receiver. We're going to utilize this connector, and we're going to terminate this connector with the white wire. So in the manual it shows that the wire goes into pin location number 1. If you look on the connector on the back side, there are a 1, 2, 3, 4 molded into the connector. You're looking for the number 1. That connection goes right into here. Push in, it snaps, the blue locking pushes down, and now you have terminated the connector. This then will plug into your ESS vehicle receiver. This connection should be done before any battery connection is placed. Route the harness out of the way so no wires can get pinched or cut. And then we will continue on with the power and ground for the battery. So we've connected our power and our grounds to our batteries, both from the ESS main harness, and the adapter harness has a separate power and a separate ground. So we've connected those two. After we have the connections done, now we'll bring over our 14-pin connector from our main harness and we will connect it to the ESS vehicle receiver. Press the secondary lock, route the harnesses out of the way, use zip ties if needed, and like I said, we're going to use the double-sided Velcro, connect it right to this fuse box in the back here. Next, we'll run the main harness down to the front bumper of the truck to connect to your plow.